Hi there, welcome to The Peaceful Home. I'm teresaelling. I'm a professional organizer, parenting coach, wife and homeschool mom to 6 graduated kids. I talk about all things home and family on this channel, but today is a little bit different. I am doing a part 2 on our recent vacation to Puerto Vallarta. If you are planning a first-time trip to this amazing city, here are 8 things you need to know. Number 1, do your research before you go. I watched a ton of other YouTube videos of people that have frequented Puerto Vallarta or live there, and I was able to get so many amazing recommendations of places to go, things to do, and places to eat. My favorite is this cute couple, Juliana and Martine. Their channel is called Tourist to Local, and I will link that below. Another one that my parents love is the Kinetic Kennons. Again, another young married couple that travels quite a bit and offers all sorts of advice on YouTube. You can also check out articles on Pinterest. Just search for best places to eat in Puerto Vallarta or top things to do, and you will have a ton of information. Number 2, you need to know about the zones in Puerto Vallarta. This city is broken up into various zones. There are quite a few, actually. There's Nuevo Vallarta, there is the Marina, the Hotel District, the Malecon, which is downtown, and then Old Town, also referred to as the Romantic Zone, and the Southern Zone. The zones where the bulk of activity happen are from the Marina down to the Romantic Zone. A lot of maps will show the entire bay as well as an up close of the downtown area with all the little streets. It's very easy to get around just by walking. To get to any of the other areas, you really have to take some other form of transportation. Speaking of transportation, that brings us to number 3, how to get around the city and how to tip. The first thing you need to know about Puerto Vallarta is that the drivers are crazy. Honestly, there were a few times that I just closed my eyes and trusted my taxi or Uber driver because they cut things so close. It's crowded, they drive fast, they swerve in and out. It's a little daunting, and that is the main reason that we did not rent a car there. The bus is available often for fare as low as 50 cents to $1, and it's easy to catch a bus, and note in the window, it will tell you the locations of the stops. Next up in price would be Uber, and we used Uber quite a bit. We used the Uber app, which allowed us to request a pickup, know the time that our driver was coming. We actually can see on a map where the driver is located currently and his progression towards us. Really helpful. You can also pay right online, tip your driver, and rate them. The most expensive is a taxi, but we use taxis quite often. The benefits over Uber is often you're stepping right outside your resort or location and there's taxis everywhere. So you just grab one. Really convenient. And when I say it's more expensive, it might be double sometimes, but you don't tip your taxi drivers. So it comes out maybe a third more than Uber. And often when we're looking at price points, we're talking the difference of $3 versus $2. At your resort, you should tip your bellboy or anyone that helps you with your bags. Again, about $1 to $1.50 a bag. That's 20 to 30 pesos. And also box boys in a grocery store. Whoever's bagging your groceries, they actually earn tips alone. They do not receive any wages, so make sure to tip them well. Another area where you might run into tipping is when a local offers a service. For example, when we went to the Malecon and had this photo taken of us in front of the Puerto Vallarta sign, there was a young girl offering to take pictures. Now, she didn't request any money, but clearly everyone was tipping her as soon as she finished taking the photos. It can be very helpful to have a local offer you advice or suggestions or help out with photos, and tips are very welcome. The number 4 thing that newbies need to know is that it is a very competitive city as far as sales go. These people are trying to earn a living. And so wherever you happen to be, there will be someone there offering to sell you something, to invite you into their restaurant or their shop. And sometimes that can feel a little overwhelming. I feel like there are two extremes. One is to ignore people completely. Another is to get into a conversation that you really don't want to be in. So I kind of found a middle ground. And that was if someone approached me with something for sale, I would look at them and smile, look at their goods for a moment. And if I wasn't interested, I would just say, no, gracias, and walk away. At that point, they often continue to follow you or talk to you. If I've already said no and thank you, I don't look back. At that point, I do ignore and I continue to walk. That seemed to work pretty well for us. Number 5, you can haggle to get good prices. So if you do engage with someone that has a shop on the street and you're interested in something, the longer you look at it, usually the lower they will go on their price. Now, I didn't do this intentionally. I just found that I was really weighing out whether I wanted to purchase something. And often with that delay, they will cut the price. You also want to get a lay of the land. A lot of the shops have the same goods. So shop around to get the best prices. Number 6 is knowing the conversion rate from pesos to dollars. We heard the best conversion rate you can get is actually here in the US. You need to give your bank at least a week, if not longer, to get the money you're requesting. I went into our bank about 4 days before we left, and it was not enough time for them to get the pesos that we needed. Mexican banks and the airport tend to not have great conversion rates. We took cash with us and then converted it at our hotel. A lot of times you can also get a better deal paying in pesos rather than US dollars, even though most places will accept both.
Now I realize the conversion rate can change, but at this point it is 18 to 20 to 1. And so I found a really quick way to do this even in your head so that you can make the conversions when you're shopping. What you do is you take your pesos, you knock off your last digit and cut that number in half. So 400 pesos is equivalent to about 20 US dollars. So 1,200 pesos, knock off the last digit, cut that in half, 60. So 1,200 pesos is the equivalent of 60 US dollars. That means 20 pesos is about $1. I kept a lot of 20 peso bills to use for tips. I just had a good stash of those.
Number 7, you need to be aware that timeshare presentations abound. You will be asked probably numerous times if you would like to attend a timeshare presentation, to get free tickets to an excursion, or even to get cash money. I know a lot of people that get a lot of free excursions by going to presentations. And it's absolutely a valid option if you are willing to sit for about 2 hours and deal with a salesman. That's not necessarily the way we wanted to spend our time. We agreed to go to one presentation and we actually regretted it. You need to be careful as soon as you're coming out of the airport. There will be multiple people just asking, do you need a taxi? But really, they're going to talk you into doing a presentation. I suggest you blaze straight through the airport to the outside and get a taxi there. Number 8, know what kind of resort you're booking. Get as much information as you can online, whether it's an Airbnb, a hotel, or an all-inclusive resort. Is it a party place? Do they have an adult-only pool? Often the indicator of an adult-only pool just lets you know that there are some places that are quiet. Our resort had only one pool with loud music playing all the time. And the fact that there was no adult-only pool should have been an indicator that there really weren't choices in that area. You also want to know if you have beach access, and is it sandy beach or rocky beach? Are there lounge chairs available and umbrellas? Are there restaurants nearby within walking distance? And you definitely need to know what zone you'll be in. We were in the hotel zone and we had access to a beautiful sandy beach, but we had no idea until we got there how far we were from downtown. That's where we went to eat. It's where some of the best restaurants are, and we couldn't get there without taking an Uber or a taxi. So those are the 8 things you need to know if you are a newbie traveling to Puerto Vallarta. We met so many couples from the United States, and all of them had been to Puerto Vallarta before. Some of them, it was their 7th or 8th time. Another woman we talked to says she comes 2 to 3 times a year. My parents have been going every year for almost 10 years. People clearly love Puerto Vallarta. Some of the reasons why is it is very inexpensive. It's an inexpensive vacation. You can get tacos for $1 and lobster for $15, margaritas for $4. You can't beat that. The food is good and the excursions available are amazing. You can have so many adventures, from zip lining and ATV riding to sailing, speedboating, parasailing. The beaches are beautiful, the sunsets are gorgeous, and the people are so friendly there. I'll link below my first video that talks about the top 10 things that we did on our vacation in Puerto Vallarta. We also decided that we would probably not go back. Now, this isn't so much about this amazing city as it is about us and discovering how we like to vacation. Neither of us like big cities, and this definitely had a big city feel, kind of crowded and with traffic and a lot of hustle and bustle. I think that's why our favorite things to do were the boat rides and sitting on the beach so that we could have some quiet and calm. But that really is just a personal preference. I definitely recommend that you try Puerto Vallarta at least once, and you may find, like so many, that you will go back again and again. We were only there a week and we were not able to get to all of the things that we had planned. So here's a little bonus for you. These are the top things that we would do if we got to go back again. The 2 adventures that we missed were going to the secret island, which just sounds amazing, incredibly beautiful. You get there by boat and you have to travel under an arch to get to this secret beach. I'll link down below the information for Vallarta Adventures. We did 2 tours with them and I highly recommend them. And the other one was a group called Vallarta Food Tours. They offer all kinds of food tours, from the taco truck food tour, a walking downtown tour, a bicycle riding tour. They have tons of options and it's usually several hours with multiple tastings. The 5 restaurants that I would hit that we didn't have time to go to are Barcelona Tapas. And this is appetizers. They're famous for their lava cake, as well as Gaby's, which is reported to have the best traditional Mexican food, and La Palapa, which was the first restaurant to serve on the beach. We also heard great things about Cafe de Olla, 4-star restaurant. It's actually right next to Pancho's Tacos, which is one of our top 10. So check that video out if you want to know more about Pancho's. And lastly, Los Muertos Brewery, which I heard has the best pizza in the city. Well, this is it on the 8 things you need to know if you are a newbie traveling to Puerto Vallarta, plus a few bonus tips. Check out my first video if you want to know more about our vacation and the top 10 things we recommend. Thanks so much for joining me today on a very unusual episode of The Peaceful Home.